here's a baseball example, and then we'll get back to the show. I'm just trying to keep it going, right? A baseball example, okay? Bush is like, what you got is like a 1-0 lead, right?
Yeah.
Your team is up 1-0.
Yeah.
And Bush comes in, right, as your relief pitcher. No, he's still pitching. He's on the mound.
Right.
And he's winning 1-0, but he puts bases loaded.
Yeah.
He loads up the bases, and now he's in great jeopardy, of the team.
He's pulled, and Barack Obama comes in.
They pull him out of the game. They bring in Obama, and on his first pitch, he gives up a double, unloads the bases, empties the bases, right? And Bush now is charged for 3 runs.
Right.
So Bush is losing 3-1.
Yeah.
And now you can blame Bush for this game, right? Because he's going to get the loss, right? But Obama came in with a pitch and unloaded the bases, right? And you want to go further, then he loaded them up again. He intentionally walked 2 guys, and he gave up a grand slam when he added Obamacare. So now the score is like completely lopsided, right? Now he's loaded up the bases again. Well, actually, you know what we're doing now? Because the Tea Party got in? Now we're trading outs for runs. Just to get us out of this inning.
Yeah.
We're trading outs for runs. So, we're going to get our 3 outs, but we're going to give up 3 runs in the process. And we're going to be down like, 10-0 or whatever it is, 10-1 when this thing's over.
Who do you support for president among the Republicans who are running for president?
Who do I support? What?
Among the Republicans running for the Republican nomination.
I really don't care. I'd vote for that, the washer dryer. If they nominated a washer dryer, I would vote for it over Obama.
Yeah.
The only one I won't vote for is Ron Paul.
And why is that?
He's an anti-Semite.
Why do you say that?
Oh my God, the things he's said. He compared Gaza to a concentration camp, and he's never. What's that word? Apologized or even retracted the statement. The New York Times and Time Magazine, I believe, both retracted their statements. Because Gaza is like it's got like shopping malls. The average person there is living better than in any other Arab country. I mean, it's like it's like a modern, industrial state there. It's like it's like a first world country, Gaza, and they it's been portrayed like a concentration camp. Way to borrow a term that would to try to make like Jews to be like the modern day Nazis, right? So I think it's abhorrent, to say the least. It's morally bankrupt, and I just think it's disgusting. He's obviously never been to Gaza, and then he's shooting off his mouth in that, and then he says like, oh, it doesn't want the U.S. to get involved in world affairs. Then keep your mouth shut if you don't understand him. So this guy is not, from a moral standpoint, he's not qualified. He doesn't recognize that the State of Israel is America's longtime ally. If he makes statements like that, then he should not be president. He should not be commander-in-chief of the biggest country in the world. He's just not. He's not fit. He's not qualified. And if he runs against Obama, I'm not going to vote for either of them. Well, who do you want? You want Michelle Bachmann.
Michelle Bachmann.
Yeah, all the conservatives want Bachmann.
Yeah, she's the most right-wing of the Republicans running. But I prefer Chris Christie or...
well, I prefer Alan West, but it's pretty obvious he's not running.
I prefer Chris Christie or Paul Ryan, and I may prefer Rick Perry to Michelle Bachmann. I'm not sure. I agree with 99% of what Michelle Bachmann says, but I don't like what would happen if she get matched up with Obama. The news media would just flare on
the left wing hates Republican women.
And I'm not sure she could stand up to it, like with her migraine thing. I'm just not sure she's strong enough. If she runs a good solid campaign and wins the Republican nomination, and she's that strong enough and she's able to pull it off, then yeah, maybe she can do it against Obama. But like, I was reading this New Yorker profile of her, and they criticized her for saying that homosexuals are enslaved. And I'll tell you what, if your primary identity is your sexual preference, then you are enslaved to a pretty narrow way of viewing life and yourself.
Right.
So like, if the primary way you identify is by your sexual orientation, then yeah, you are enslaved to a very limited view of life. Like, I don't go around thinking, oh, I'm primarily a guy who likes to please black girls.
No, but you are the porn guy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So this week's Torah portion is via Hanan, Deuteronomy chapter 3 verse 23 to chapter 7 verse 11.
Okay, let's get into it.
So in Deuteronomy chapter 3 verse 26, Moshe gets mad at the Jews and says, because of you, I'm not getting into the promised land.
And thus became the first time that a Jewish parent guilted their kids. I opened the door to everything you see today.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's all your fault that the Nazis took over Europe.
Right.
And Mom, I wasn't even born back then.
Exactly.
I've heard people say the craziest things. I've seen a Jew one time during the 80s. The government in Israel failed, and they had, what do they call that?
Loss of confidence.
Yeah, and I was standing in line at the market, and somebody said, "It's your fault." And I said, you would never see this outside the Jewish world.
Right.
I'm sitting here shopping, and that's all. You know what I mean? That is very Jewish. Now we know where it comes from.
So this Parsha does not give out spiritual welfare. There's no free lunch in return for assenting to certain theological dogmas. In the Jewish view, you earn your way. Little children are given things. Adults earn their way. Judaism is an adult religion. Jesus' message was perfect for children. Let the little children come unto me. In the Christian view, it's good to come to God as a little child. It's nothing in 4,000 years of Judaism that says one should come to God as a little child. You should come as an adult. You should study. You should use your brain. You should learn. You should practice the Torah. No welfare. No spiritual welfare. No cheap grace. No, if you have faith in me, then you get automatic eternal life. So salvation doesn't swoop down from above. It's not a gift from God for doing nothing. You don't join with God by eating his son's flesh and drinking his blood. There are no invitations to this pseudo-cannibalism in the Torah. That's pagan, that's Christian, that's not the Jewish way. So I'm cool with welfare when it's voluntary, like when one individual helps out another. As the rabbis of the Talmud said, the prisoner himself cannot free himself by himself from his own confinement. We do need each other. I agree with the title of Hillary Clinton's book, It Takes a Village, in that Jewish life is focused on the community, it's focused on the village, and it's focused on what is good for the community and individuals helping other individuals in the community.
I hate when anyone tries to point to Torah's helping the poor with tzedakah and tries to use that as some sort of support for government taxation.
Right.
Because the two, please, should never be confused.
Right.
They're nothing to do with each other. Our obligation, to help the poor and to give 10% of our money to, or at least 10%, right, to take care of the poor people. That has nothing to do with taxes. That's called taking care of the poor.
Yeah.
And if we had a nation, let's say, without taxes at all, everyone would have more money, and then they could have more money to give to the poor, right? And we would expect that everybody would. And we come from a very Christian, very devout background where people do give, right? So I have full faith that if people had more money, they would give. When the government comes and takes things, that's tantamount to Maxis a shekel. You know what Maxis a shekel is? When you give the half shekel?
Yeah.
And that's a very small thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a sheva pruta. It's like nothing, right? It's like the government came to you and took a nickel or a dime,
right?
Or even a $50, let's say, right? And everybody would chip up, right? That's Torah's way of handling government, and you take care of your financial needs for the government in that method. Everybody gives like $1, right? And if the government needs to spend more than $1 per person, then something is wrong with your country. You're spending too much money.
Moshe doesn't waste words in this parsha on just pretty ideas and pretty sounding theories about the next life. He doesn't repeatedly enjoin the Israelites, now just go forth and love one another. Love is in there, but it's not the focus. There's no theology in here to match the preoccupations of the New Testament. This is not romantic religion. This is nuts and bolts, because that's how life works. That's how you make good people. You drill them, you make them practice. You make them practice whether they're going to get better in piano or in tennis or in ethics. Moshe is not like Coach Taylor in the TV show Friday Night Lights. He doesn't tell his team, clear eyes, full hearts. Judaism trusts neither the eye nor the heart.
You know what Ben Stein said?
No.
Clear eyes, the word